Okay, I think we're fine. I think we're fine. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. Welcome to the Sparkle Call. So today we are going to be focusing in on Substack notes, and we're going to be talking a little bit about just going to spotlight my video. We're going to be talking a little bit about how we can use video in Substack notes and on chat as well. That's what our focus is for today. So let me just find my notes. If you're just arriving, it might be a quiet call today because the afternoon ones do tend to be quiet, and then also the weather is nice. So yeah, see how many people come. But what we usually do is say hello in the chat, so you can add your Substack URL, a little bit about what you write about if you want to. That would be super. And then yeah, we'll dive in. For anyone that's new to the call or watching on replay, my name is Claire Venus, and I am an engagement consultant and mentor with 20 years experience in the arts and cultural sector. I've been teaching on Substack for over a year now. My message is very stay creative and enjoy it. Joyful growth, sustainable growth, having a brilliant time. So that's what we're here to do. So whenever we're bringing our attention to a part of the platform like we do in these calls, we need to hone in on whether that feels good to us, because otherwise it just feels like something, that feels like work that we don't want to do, or that might trigger us or trigger comparison. So we're just leaning into it feeling joyful. That said, Substack are massive on using notes in the early days to grow your Substack. Substack Notes has been around for a year now. So we've had a year of using notes and engaging in notes and seeing how other people are using it. We're starting to see more and more of the sort of growth hackers arriving on notes and being like, come on, we can all do this. We'll all just hack everything all over the place. It's like, yeah, for sure. Like, I'm sure all of that is possible, but it hasn't been necessary. And so I want to say that to you, like, if you're tempted to burn yourself out with growth hacks or try things, just be mindful, because we could just easily get burnt out. I think your approach to notes needs to be unique to your publication. So that's where we're going to head first. We're going to work out what our approaches to notes could be for our specific publications. It can be that water cooler moment with your colleagues. We're all colleagues together. We've all got Substacks. We're all reading each other's work. There are not many readers hanging out and scanning notes. There are writers that also read, creatives that also read, but there are not that many readers, just readers. So those people live in our email inboxes. So that might help your brain a little bit. So there's a massive opportunity to network, and there's a massive opportunity to grow and promote what it is that you're doing, to grow awareness and also grow subscribers as well. So we can just see how it feels. So let's start with a little journaling task around Substack notes. And I want you to just note down how you feel right now about notes. So the question is, how do you feel about notes? And then there'll be a second part of that question that is, what do you currently do on notes? So I'll go on mute and I'll put those two questions in the chat for you. Okay, so hopefully you got a chance to write a few things down. You can put them in in the chat if you'd like to. So how do you feel about notes? What I wrote was, I feel good about notes. I feel like there's kinship there, there's colleagueship. It's a bit of a pick and mix, so I can have a scroll through and see some really interesting stuff. I can see some really beautiful stuff. I can find some people that I haven't read their work before, so new people to read. On the shadow side, I wrote that it's sometimes noisy. Definitely when I came back from holiday, I just needed a break. I needed a break from notes. I'd had a digital detox for a week, and then being on notes was like, this is really noisy. I can't hear myself think. And I just knew that, I just knew that I needed some time off notes to then recalibrate and do the work that I wanted to do in the world. So I just wanted to mention that because it's not how I feel right now, but it's definitely been part of the history. In terms of what we do on notes, so a really good thing to do just to try and connect in with the history of what you've been posting on notes is just have a little scroll back through your own notes. So I'll show you how to do that. For some of you, you might not know where to find them if you're on the Substack desktop. So if you are on your profile, I'll just move that here, you can just click notes here, and then it's just going to give you the list of all of the notes that you've written right to the very start. So you can go all the way back. And this is a really good thing to do to see which notes are gathering more traction, gathering more likes or subscribes, restacks, that sort of thing, comments underneath. You can have a look to see what is working on notes. When you've restacked something, that's going to come in there as well. So you can see, that's just a really lovely thing. And we can talk more about restacking and how to use that as well. But yeah, there's all sorts that we can do here. Sometimes there's a bit of a surprise. Yeah, so I didn't realize that one had been liked 58 times that I did yesterday. I didn't really clock that, just in the sea of notifications. Sometimes things get busy. So it's like, okay, simple ask, and it's quite funny, and there's a screenshot and people have liked that, which is really sweet. This one where I announced my Substack book, which I was so excited to do. Honestly, I've been wanting to announce this for months, but we had to wait and make sure everything was in place first. So this was really fun to do. So I just had a really, really fun time launching like a little bit of a competition in notes, and again, just with a bit of humor, just with a bit of fun. So if you head to your Substack and just have a little scroll through and answer that question, what do you do on notes? Do you restack? Do you do self-promotion? Do you do competitions? What is on there? What are you finding on there? Are you sharing photographs, other people's work? Are you sharing your colleagues? What's going on your notes feed? And then anything of note, please let me know in the chat, and then we can move on to the next exercise. Okay, So when you've got the list of what you think that you do on notes, and if you're new to notes, don't worry. We're going to be going into what the options are and what you could do. And obviously we can always stay creative, so that's possible. So my little list, it's similar most weeks, to be honest. So I'll crowdsource some information just because I'm geeky about Substack and other people's opinions. So that was definitely in there. I'll restack and support other people's work. So this isn't just my colleagues and my members. Like if I see something that I want to restack and support, like I just will. I don't second guess it. I just support it. I don't think about it. I'm just like, I want to support that and off we go. I like to have chit chat. So if I'm in the notes feed away from this feed and I see something and it's asking a question, I'd love to join in with that. And then a little bit of self-promotion and asking questions sometimes as well around like just trying to get more engagement and more thoughts. So on the self-promo side, one of the main things that I see when we do our notes engagement thread twice a month is that people don't ask the question up top. So you need to ask the question up top just because it works better. So write out your note, and if in your natural flow the question comes at the end, just shift it to the top. I put mine in bold a lot of the time because I'm trying to grab attention. Like I'm not going to pretend that I'm not trying to grab attention. That's what I'm trying to do. So it's like, here's the question. And if anyone sees it and wants to and has time to engage in it, then they'll know that that's what I'm asking for. So for me, that's been a really nice shift to be able to do that. You could also just write something really lovely and inspiring. And I see lots of people doing that on notes that is just like a little comfort blanket, just like some warm reassurance. That all feels really, really good to do that. I don't do that type of note usually because I tend to do that more in the community and more in the call. So my notes, like I've said, are kind of across those few categories. In terms of video in notes, it's there now. We can use it, so we could, with any of the things that we do, with any of the things that I do, I could make them a video. There's no reason why any of the things that I've scrolled here couldn't have been a video. So they would either be me talking to camera or me having made like a little film in Canva or me doing some footage with my iPhone and then some text to accompany it. All of that is possible, whether we want to or not, like that's down to us, but it is there. So if we were to go over to where are we going to go here? There's so much going on, guys. I can't even tell you. Right, I'm going to take you over here because this is coming and I am allowed to announce this as well. So this is my new space, the Sparkle Summit, which I am hosting with Russell Noelty to launch our book, How to Build a World-Class Substack. I'm very, very proud of what we're doing, but I'm also like sheepish. I feel weird because it's like the first day that it's live. Anyway, here, obviously, if we were to write a new note to announce we've arrived, because I've got multiple Substacks, it's going to just pull through my writer profile. So when people see this note, it's not going to say, oh, Claire from the Sparkle Summit. It's just going to say Claire, like Claire Venus. So that's my handle on Substack. That's my writer profile. So that's going to be me. So if I wanted to say, we are so excited to announce, blah, 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 blah. And then I've got the option to add in a photograph. Let's put the cat in from the other day. If I do that, it's not going to give me anything else. Now, you can put multiple photos in, but if you're scrolling on your phone, not only does it cut them off a little bit, but you're asking people's eyes to read too much information usually. So be really cautious at using more than one photo. I think it's stronger just to use one. It's personal opinion and what I've seen on notes. But if you want to use more than one, I think just be really aware how they all fit together and what we're asking of people to do. So it could be a wide shot and then a detailed shot. That would sort of be okay. But if you were doing like multiple detailed shots, our eyes are just like, wait, what? Where am I going? So that's that one. And then if I wanted to do video, obviously that's going to try and open up video. There's probably isn't anything on my desktop to show you, but when we do some more writing, I'll find something. So when we do video, that's where we go. So it's asking us to upload something. Obviously, it's a much easier experience in the app if we're using notes on the app, and I'm just showing you here on the desktop, but that's what we would do. And then we could post it through to the notes feed so that people could see it. When we're composing a note, I've never got to the character count on notes. There will be one. but you can make notes quite lengthy. So there's no reason that you couldn't take quite a big extract from one of the posts that you'd made and then have some video to accompany it. It's like a separate piece of content here because you're going to have separate eyes on it. So if it gets a little bit of traction, it'll then be shown to more people. If it gets a lot of traction, like one of my clients just had a viral note, it's going to be shown to lots and lots more people. If it doesn't get much traction in the first little while, I mean, we all know how social media works now, then it doesn't really go anywhere. If it gets a little bit of traction, it'll then just keep trickling away and it'll probably disappear after about 24 hours. If it gets a lot of traction, we're talking about nearly a week of people liking and engaging it. It'll just keep being shown to people within the notes feed. So there are options there. There were lots of people and articles about how to go viral on notes at the moment. It's like a big thing because it can drive a lot of subscribers. One of the things that we need to really consider is, and I spoke to somebody who had a viral note, and she actually then took it down because it was bringing the wrong type of person into our Substack. Now, it wasn't only the wrong type of person, but it was a lot of very big energy and a few trolls all at once. So all I say to you guys, and I say this about anything, whether it would be a viral post or growing quickly or anything, is make sure you set your Substack up so that you feel safe, so that if anything does happen, anything negative comes your way, that you can hold yourself steady in that, remove the person, mute the person, block the person, and move on. It's not like it's going to happen, but it can happen. And I think it's just really worth saying, like, if we do want to go viral on notes, that's great. Like, get it out there, put it on your vision board, but know that you're going to have to be ready for the influx of mad people on the internet if it happens. That's all. So yes, so that's how we do compose a note. So I'm going to get into the chat now and see what you guys have figured out about, or you're just doing your instructions. Gorgeous. Okay. Is there anything on what we have been chatting about with notes in terms of how you use it and how you feel about it? So both of those things, how you're using it, how you feel about it, what you'd like to do with notes and what you'd like to do in terms of using it to grow your publication. Let me know in the chat, or if anybody wants to unmute and chat live, you're super welcome to do that as well. But if you don't want to, you know, cameras off is fine, mics off is fine. If there's anything you'd like to say, we're just a small live group and the replay goes to all the members, which is now 300. Yay. So anything at all you want to say, anything you want to put in the chat, and then I can just feed off what you guys want in the call. If you're having a quiet day, it's all good.
I'll just go ahead and say it
Oh,
instead of
thanks,
typing all
Blythe.
of it.
Thank you.
Um,
Hi. Good afternoon. Good
hi.
morning.
I tend to use notes for engaging with other people, and like I love reading other people's notes and commenting, and I love that. I just can't seem to get into that regular rhythm of what to share either on my own. And so maybe I liked your idea of like maybe just having it like restack some, share others, or I think sometimes that's where I get kind of stuck. I'm not sure exactly what to do on my end of it.
Yeah, I hear you. And so with your calendar in terms of when you are online. So if you're online and you're on Substack through the week, what days do you tend to be online? What days are you publishing? What days are you around for like comments and like chatting with people? What does that look like? Is it every day? Is it just the weekends? What's it look like?
Well, so I usually am more active like at the beginning of the week. So like
Mm-hmm.
Monday, Tuesday, I'm trying to write my own post, which goes out on Thursday. And so then I find that, yeah, weekends for me, I tend to not get on very often just because I'm busy doing other
Mm-hmm.
things.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but I like the idea you were talking about that in another class of like having it where I have like, okay, I'm sitting down to write today, and then maybe I could like pop in somewhere for 5-10 minutes, and then like another day I maybe do my own note where I'm like in that brain space, because otherwise sometimes I can get totally lost just reading reading everyone's content and
Mm-hmm.
comments, and then I don't necessarily, yeah,
Yeah,
feel like I'm generating my notes.
and so when you do your Thursday post, are you sharing it on notes at the minute? Do you say, I've written a post over here?
No, I guess that's part of it. So the notes go, I guess sometimes I feel like I'm inundating people with things. So if I send my post, the note doesn't necessarily, it won't go to the same people at the same time,
It'll just be
right?
shown to whoever is online that also subscribes to you and potentially other people within like the explore field of notes. So that's up to Substack really, like if they decide they're going to push it out to more people. So it's algorithmic, but it's also chronological. So if I did one now and you all went on, you'd see it, right? Because you subscribe to Sparkle. So it's very random in terms of how a note can do. People are posting when they feel like their people are online. So I have like quite a big UK based community, but I also have a big like overseas community. So mine, I tend to like spread them out throughout the day, but I know that my writing is better in the mornings. So if I'm planning to do something later in the day, I'll maybe compose it off platform and then later in the day I'll post it. So it's like there for the Americans and the Canadians when they wake up. So almost if when you're writing your post, you could write the accompanying note to go with it and then just copy and paste it in. You know, if you wanted to put a nice image in with your work, I think that would work as a lovely complement. You could also just, when you've posted your post, you could restack part of it to notes. So if you'd written a really strong line or two, you know, that you were really proud of, that kind of summed up the headline of the piece, you could, you know, restack that and then invite conversation in notes, but also encourage people to head over to read the full post as well. And we have to sort of tell people what we want them to do. So, you know, it's so easy to scroll. If we want people to read the full post, we have to say, why don't you pop over and read the full post? Love to chat more in the comments, you know, because people will either just like and scroll and move on, or maybe they comment on the note, which is great because it'll give it more traction. But if you wanted them to read your post and that was the purpose of doing the, you know, so and then the other thing is sometimes people miss a post. So, you know, I see it all the time. I meant to read somebody's post and then bedtime with the kids took longer, so I missed it. And then when they post on notes, I'm like, oh, yes, I wanted to read that person's post. They're not even talking about the post, you know, they're just talking about something else, but I see their name on notes and it reminds me to go back and read their work, which is why we'll get a delivery rate and an open rate when we first send a post, but then we get all of these views that flood in afterwards, especially if we're using notes. So that's where the subscribers to our work comes from as well. In terms of being active at the start of the week for you, Blythe, I think composing some ideas about what you might post towards the end of the week. Your content is beautiful for weekend content on notes. So I think that would be a really nice thing to try if you'd already had it composed and all you had to do was pop on a Saturday or a Sunday would be really nice. And then in terms of meeting your colleagues and feeling really inspired for the week ahead and inspired for your writing, just having a little chit chat there on notes, you know, is good. People start to see your name, they start to check out what you're writing, your profile, you start to be seen as somebody who is supportive in the notes space. And that's how I see it. Like, I want to support all my colleagues. You know, a lot of my colleagues are also my members. Like, it's just a beautiful place to like Monday morning, let's go. So I'm on there a lot on a Monday and then it eases off as the week goes on. And then I might have done something that I want to post on the weekend. So for me, it's every day because of the nature of the work that I do. For you guys, it might feel more like, okay, like I'm going to try a midweek thing and I'm going to do it every Wednesday. And this is what I'm going to do. And this is what people can expect from me. But again, with that joyful sort of staying creative message, you get to choose. But I think let's not miss it because Substack are just saying, honestly, it is wildfire for us at the moment. And we're in, you know, we're in. It's the first year of notes and now we're into year two. So although it feels busy, it's not as busy as other social media. We're still being able to like be seen with our content and meet people and kind of not feel like the party's over. So yeah, hopefully some of that helps. But I just draw it out like this. Like I know obviously I've got all the beautiful diaries in the world, I've got the online thing, but I just draw it out because things happen, you know, and there can be things to riff off, you know, there can be things that just feel like, okay, like how's that all going to work this week? So just drawing out your timetable for the week, drawing out the days that you're definitely not online, drawing out the days that you do want to be online, that can work super, super well. Thanks for chiming in on that, Blythe. That was super helpful. Let me check in on the chat and just see. Okay, so Rachel's saying, should we be active daily on notes? So far, I do mostly restacks, but sharing of my own things are rare. Yeah, so restacks are like a super compliment because the writer, the author, the creative will see that you've restacked it, and that just feels really nice. And if you do that for people within your niche, or people who are also like readers, but your readers and then writers as well. This is where the kinship and the colleagueship builds up, and then you get more and more people supporting you within the Notes network, and you get more people who will see your work. I think that and there's something in a restack where we take the time to say something as well above a restack. And I don't always like I'll do restacks just because I'm on there and I want to restack it and I haven't got time to think about what to write. I'll just do it. I don't second guess myself. But when I want to write something quite considered, people again really, really appreciate that. And this is how your colleagueship will build on the platform. So really worth doing that and seeing in terms of I see a lot on Notes because I'm subscribed to a lot of people. So it might be, that you need to go onto the explore page of your Notes to see more that you might want to restack and more that you might want to chime in with. It might be that you want to subscribe to some more Substacks so that you can, see people's work when they're posting it on Notes and make sure there's a bit of a pick and mix there for you. So Catherine says, I don't get any engagement on Notes, so I'd like to know how best to stimulate that initially. Is it just more consistency and engagement with others? Yeah, so partly, Catherine, it's to do with the fact that because I teach about Substack on Substack and I've been here for 2 years, a lot of the people that are in my Notes feed that see my notes are also using Notes. So they're there because they want to learn Substack and they've got Substacks. Sometimes, your readers will be reading an email, they'll not be hanging out on Notes. So this is why the Notes engagement thread that I do twice a month in Sparkle, then when you chat with all those people, those are going to become the people that look out for your notes and you become colleagues with, because we can't really make that happen without we've got some people that are also using Substack the same way that we are, until the readers come and the readers start feeling like it's a place for them and that they can like Notes. It's just not there yet. So I would say definitely utilize those 2 threads a month, and they're all in there in the Sparkle chat, so you can go back up the threads and see who's active on Notes. Obviously, the note URLs will be old now, but just in terms of the people, if you want to follow them, you can follow them. So I was sort of against the follow feature when it first came on, but now I'm like, actually, yeah, I probably do want to follow some other people that I don't want to subscribe to their newsletters just because I haven't got any more reading time. So if you feel you're at capacity with subscriptions, use the follow button. Hopefully that will feel really intuitive and instinctive, and you won't be second guessing who you want to follow. You know what you like and what you're going to enjoy reading on Notes. So follow some people that are using it, and make sure that you're getting their stuff. And then hopefully it's a ripple effect from there. So Caitlin's saying similar. I find I don't get much traction on Notes. So I've noticed I've been putting much out there lately, mostly just restacking things I like and commenting on others. Yeah, and that's fine, so we don't want to feel super vulnerable and weird, do we? Like we want to feel seen and we want to feel like, I said something over here. Like, is anybody there? Like, it's very strange, and it's strange for our nervous systems as well. So honoring that it is a strange thing, but also it's an opportunity is a good thing. So if you're enjoying chatting and that feels nice, just do that. Maybe try and challenge yourself to do 1 or 2 notes a week. My husband has had some time off Notes recently, and he used to get quite good engagement on his notes when he was posting like maybe every other day or something. When he came back to Notes, he was saying, I'm not getting any traction here at all. So I do wonder if the more you use it, the more traction there is, so it's that sweet spot, isn't it? Like you say, you don't want to feel like you're bothering people, but also you want to be there, like having a chat and kind of being a voice on Notes. So it's this balance of feeling safe and feeling like what I'm doing is working. I've just had a period of pouring attention into Instagram before my summer break, and it's amazing the algorithms that the social media sort of rewards, just because I was there most days doing stories, my views went from like 1,500 a month to 4,500 a month in like a month of doing that. And I know taking a step away, I'll start that again if I go back on there. But sometimes I just don't even go back on for months on end. So who knows? But what I am saying is I think it's massively worth it as part of your content ecosystem, where you can just think, what style of note do I want to do? Like, what feels good to me? What do I want to share from this article? Just to get into that practice of doing it, because it is enabling us to grow our publications, and that's what we want. Restacking is a lovely thing to do as well. Yeah, really, really nice. So, in terms of using video, like this month has been all focused on video for you guys and getting into that space of how do you want to use video within your publication, but do you also want to try and use it within chat and try and use it within notes? I just want to be really open to your questions about video in either of those mediums or either or all of those mediums, because there might be things that you're questioning that I've just not thought of. You know, you might be thinking, okay, am I bringing this content over from Instagram? Or is it okay if I do this? Is this etiquette okay? Like, what shall I try here? So, what are your questions? What do you want to know? I'm here for you. Anyone's got any? You can post in the chat or you can chat. Live's
I'll
completely
go.
up to you. Hi,
I
Faith.
so that's really interesting. I guess I hadn't thought of it. I had been doing over on Instagram. I've been kind of off it for a while, but I had been posting just like I would like post from my garden or post from, and just like, hey, hi, blah, blah. And so if you did something like that in notes, is it more to just get that engagement or should you tie it to an actual written form that you might have had? Or is it a standalone? I guess that was my question with the video.
Yeah, so I would do standalone video for notes because I feel like that is what it's inviting us to do. You know, they've just rolled video out and I did a little one that was just a few seconds of me and my daughter painting as a comment reply. So I was chatting to somebody on there and I just showed that, just showed like here we are doing our watercolors or whatever. And it's that sort of playing around with if we do that, how does it feel? And secondly, is it going to drive more engagement? I would suspect that Substack are rolling out more of the video, like the short snippet video notes, because they've just brought in the video editor. So in the video editor, if I was to upload this to Substack video after the call, I could then edit a snippet of it to post on notes. That's what they're encouraging us to do. So it could be really worth playing around with just a few seconds of footage from your garden in notes and saying, how's everybody else's garden looking this summer? Just like a really beautiful invitation. Tag a couple of people in that you know from Sparkle or that you've met on your Substack travels, simply because that'll just get it going a little bit, just to sort of say, because I will always reply if I'm tagged unless I'm completely snowed under, but it doesn't happen that much. It has happened a few times and there doesn't seem to be a rhyme or reason as to when it happens, but I'm happy to be tagged. I'm happy to reply. I'm happy, like any of you guys can do that. I would love that, really, really like to support you. So then it just gives you that start of a conversation straight away. And then you can just see how it goes. Some of the more successful kind of regular notes posts did a little bit of that. So there was a theme and it would be like on a Tuesday or on a Wednesday. I mean, we've seen this on social media over the years, haven't we? You could start something like that. It's fresh social media. You can do anything you want. So if you wanted to, show us your mindful moments or show us a shot from your garden or show us your desk, show us your coffee, show us your notebooks, like all of that stuff that is just chatting with your colleagues all over the world does well on notes. Like there's no reason that I have to start those things. Like you guys can too. Like anything that feels good is good to do. With the video, if you wanted to put it into chat, obviously, then you have a more intimate set of subscribers there because it is only the subscribers to your posts. So you can set that to free, paid, or founding member tier. Chat is just hard to get off the ground. So with smaller publications, I'm just not sure that chat is working that well. With the bigger publications, it works really well. So it's not to say don't do it, but it's almost like people who are imagine you've got an email reader and then it says Claire Enos has started a new chat, but then they've got to go on to Substack and they're like, wait, what's Substack? What am I doing? I just want this girl's emails. Like, what's going on? There's just so many barriers to chat unless we're all doing it together. So if you're meeting other people that are using Substack the same way as you are and you invite them to chat, that works better, but it's still relatively slow for smaller accounts and it's better for bigger accounts. That's what I'm seeing. So I think just observe what other people are doing, but choose where you put your energy because there's no reason that you have to create across notes, chat, posts, video, audio. There's so much, and we covered a lot of that last week. We have to choose where to put our energy in terms of where feels good for engagement with our own community and then growth and engagement with the wider Substack community. Um, that said, I have got an idea that I wanted to introduce you to, which I will do in a minute. But is there any more on video within notes and chat and any ideas anyone's got? Like they're thinking, shall I try this? Shall I do a 5-day challenge? Shall I do a 30-day challenge? Shall I do Mondays? What do you guys think? What do you want to do? What feels good? And you put it in the chat if you can. Hi, Catherine.
Hi. So I have started running like monthly workshops for my subscribers, and over on Instagram I do, short kind of to camera, this is what we're going to talk about this month, inviting them to come along, that kind of thing. And I haven't been doing that on Notes, and I'm wondering, should I just be doing that? It is promoting my
Mm.
community, my Substack. Is Notes an appropriate space to be doing that kind of to camera
Yeah,
thing?
for sure. So I've definitely seen a little bit more of that now, and like I welcome it, because it helps us to understand who you are in the world, what you're up to. It's that very quick insight into, okay, like I get a sense of who Catherine is and what she's offering. We're all, especially when we go into long form reading, we're all building a picture of who somebody is who hosts that publication. We don't actually get to know them until we like are in a situation like this. And video just gives us that instantly. So it's like, oh, I've heard them speak. Like I can see the mannerisms, like I see who they are. They're telling me about this one specific thing. So on social media, we're trying to grab attention. On notes, it's more subtle than that. Like people have got a bit more time. So I do think there will always be the people that turn off autoplay in video and the people that turn it on. So people who love to consume video are going to keep autoplay on and just going to hear from you. The people who want to make that choice are like, I'm curious. I might put that play button on, or I might read, or I might go over. So I think now's the time to try it out. I think that in terms of the etiquette, this blend of personal and professional that we do so well on Substack and is so widely accepted, there's a sophistication there that we can sort of be more personable, if that makes sense. So rather than like, okay, I'm on Instagram stories, let's go, let's get it all down, it's like, what it is, guys, is, it can just be a little bit slower, a little bit more mindful. People have got more headspace. At the moment, we might see more video flooding in. That's what Substack are pushing. So it might be depending on who people are subscribed to. That becomes too much capacity and it's like basically watching Instagram stories. I don't think so, but you just never quite know. So I would say now, just give it a go, do what you're comfortable with doing. If you're comfortable with video as a medium, try it on notes and definitely like tag a couple of us in, tag me in, like I'll respond and then you can see how it's all feeling. I think there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes that we wouldn't necessarily know about. So with the membership, there are people signed up to this membership that I never ever hear from and I never ever see, but they pay every month or they paid for the year and they read everything, so there are always going to be those feelings of, oh, nobody's around or nobody liked it. It doesn't matter. Like people will have seen it. And just because they've chosen not to like doesn't mean that they haven't like clocked who you are and what you're about. That could drive subscribers in the future. It could just drive that depth of engagement. It's all the unseen stuff, I guess, is what I'm saying. So yeah, does that help?
Yeah, great. Thank you.
You're welcome. So Susan's saying I shared my 5-day challenge on notes and that did well. Good. Doodle flowers. Yes. So I would say with Susan's challenge, so I saw that and I also saw other people doing it, and I was just getting round to the sort of thought that I might do it, and then I was like, it was all gone. So this is what happens. So our brains are like, oh, I've seen that a couple of times. Oh, I've seen somebody else doing that. Oh, I want to do that. Oh, wait, there's a duck flying above the window. Like we're so distracted. So with something like a 5-day challenge, when you're designing the engagement for that and the pool and the funnel of getting people over, it's really good to think about, okay, so like people have clocked it, but maybe not had time to come over and do it. Like, how do you catch all of those people so there's no like shame that lives there? So I'm like, oh, I should have doodled a flower. That would have been really lovely. I could have sat in my garden with a cup of tea and done it. Like, there are people like me sat out in the community of notes who want to be invited back in. So that could be, here's a roundup of all the doodle flowers. That could be every first of the month is Doodle Flower Day for 12 months, for 24 months, like let's doodle the seasons, you know, giving people a bit longer. So with 24 Essay Club, this was why. So I know that people weren't posting as much as they wanted on Substack. They were overwhelmed, they were exhausted, they were pulled in millions of different directions. They were reading stuff that was making them think that their work wasn't good enough. And I was like, we're going to just have a club of essays. Like, this is what it's going to be. And it just literally was wildfire as soon as I put that message out. Like, let's just be in a club of posts. Like, how many do you want to do? It's up to you. Like, let's aim for 24. Let's see if we can get there. People need that sense of like, it's all okay. Like, I'm okay. It's all okay. So with the flowers, great that it did well, but let's do more. What do you want to do next? And you can put in the chat, or you can chat Susan, whatever you like, but it's really good to hear that it did well, that kind of consistent 5-day thing on notes, because obviously we've seen things like that on social media, haven't we? There was a big Instagram thing that was always 30 days, and I'd always make it to like day 10 and then be like, oh, I'm so bored, I don't want to do anymore. You know, it's like our behavior, we're all just so different in the way that we engage. So yeah, and it works well as a video medium as well. I think anything with like sketching and all that sort of stuff is really nice to do, isn't it?
Claire, can I just ask?
Sure.
Yes, I think I've missed that. I might have seen it, but like you say, I was probably then thought there's a butterfly over there, and
Yes, that's what we do.
Is the Essay Club running now still?
Yeah, so let me share it, as I'm actually talking about it a little bit at the Content Summit next week. So I'm part of this summit called the Content Summit that Kristen Thiem is organised, and it's going to be really cool because it's just short videos from lots of different people that use Substack experts, but like, you know, it's fine. We're just people in the world that use Substack. So I'm sharing some about it there, but let me share really briefly with you guys about Essay Club, because I think that you will really like this in terms of what's possible. And like I said, it was all about getting to a place where people felt like they had time. So I think I launched it in about March time, something like that, and it's driven 90 new subscriptions. So that's the first thing you need to know, because it didn't drive those subscriptions when it first launched. That's happened over time. So what I've done most recently is a roundup. So if I go into my archive, and obviously I do publish a lot. Here we go. So this thread here, how's it going with 24 Essay Club, was an invitation to be like, how's it gone, guys? Did you do one and then forget about it? How are you all feeling? Like, I genuinely wanted to hear from people on that. And that I did that as a thread so people could respond. Very, very short. Like, here are the details you can click into. So that drove lots more people clicking there, and then lots of comments. It was very clear what I wanted people to do from that thread. Then when you go back to the original post, that's the first invitation, April 1st. Yeah. So this has been my most popular and most restacked post of this year. And it's because people recognized a little bit of themselves in what I'm saying. You know, I'm saying it's really hard to get our work out. We're coming up against all of these different blocks. So anything that acknowledges how your community is feeling, or something that like a pain point or something, some sort of block or confusion, is good. And I know that for myself, this is really helpful for me as well, to be in service, but also to do this work. So there's that one. And then there was a roundup that I did, which again reminds people that you can start. I'm trying to remember where it went. Here it is. It's because I called it this. So this one, I said with Essay Club, I'll share as many as I can, you know, when I'm online. And that's actually been harder than I thought, because I feel like I need to read them all properly to share them, and I only have so many reading hours. However, for the roundup, I obviously read all of these and then I put them in a little roundup, and everybody was very happy to be mentioned. So I did a little bit of blurb about, I think it was like 10 of them or so I got to, maybe I got to a few more, shared all of these people's work, and then obviously they restacked it as well. And then I reminded people about the original ask. So the original ask is running all year. We're going to see if we can get to up to 24 essays. Some people will do 6 and that's perfect. Other people might do 3. Some people might want to do the 24. It doesn't matter. And then shared some of my own work as well. And then there was some nice comments in there. Now, where this is heading next, once I get the admin time, and you'll like this, is that when you do a collaborative post, like I did for International Women's Day, you can add authors to it. So here's all of our chat threads in Sparkle. This is the Essay Club one. So at the moment, this is just me. But next time I do a chat thread, and I might have to make it a post, I'll double check. But I'm going to add anybody that said that they wanted to co-host the Essay Club with me. So these are people that are already writing for Essay Club, that get the concept, that are really keen, that want to encourage more people to write. So I'll put their names as author names along here. And then when anyone comments in that post, they'll get notified like it's a comment in there, like for them. So not only will I see the comments, but everybody tagged will see the comments, and then they can decide if they want to go and read that essay, if they want to reply to the person. So it's a bit like having a massive book club, but it's for essays on Substack. Now, that wasn't originally in the design of this engagement project, but it just felt like a really nice opportunity. So that's what I mean. If something's gone well, you can then riff off like, okay, well, where do I take this next? Where do I take this next? What do I do next? So you can start something and see how it goes. I guess with starting anything, you've got to give it a bit of time. Like you've got to tag people in, you've got to get people, because people are just distracted. So yeah, that was quite a long chat about Essay Club, but hopefully it's helpful just in terms of engagement and all of the thought that goes into the best ways to engage the most people and help people to feel like they can create, and they don't have to be like, oh, well, I didn't publish this week, it's all ruined. It doesn't matter.
That's very helpful. Thank you.
You're so welcome. And, I am really encouraging you guys to come up with original creative ideas. I'm going to start a thread after this that is about that. Like, what are your ideas? Because sometimes we talk ourselves out of them. Like, I could do that. Like with Susan's flower challenge, I'd be super curious about the process of that, Susan, if you wanted to chat with us today. Like, where did it come from? Like, did it feel really clear from the off? You were doing 5 days. Did you know what flowers? How did you pull all that together? Are you open to coming on and having a chat?
Yeah, sure. Well, I've always loved challenges, to a way to start creating, and I've been doing them for a long time. So it's something I wanted to do with other people, and I just thought something that people can do, and for me was 5 days. And as I was talking and mentioning about it, I was thinking of drawing flowers, and then someone use the word doodle, flower doodle, and I thought, oh yeah, that sounds more easy for them. So I started with just I was already doing flowers in my sketchbook, and I think for me it was just I shared a video about tulips from the tulips field, because I'm here based in the Netherlands, and that just got really a lot of views. People really liked that video, and I knew I wanted to do tulips. So then I knew day 5, and then I went through that like a couple of months ahead, what flowers people liked, and I from my experience, what was something simple to do, and then add in a challenged one. And then I knew more or less the first 2 I wanted to do, and I was kind of doing it as I was going. I was surprised that the hardest one is the one we all like doing. So I thought that was kind of interesting. And I think it was also just sharing on notes. I was sharing everyone's flowers. I was quite surprised. There was about 10 of us, and they were more than happy to share it. I thought that was really nice, and that also gave me content to share on notes. And I think all that helped. And I did do I did do videos every day. I think that's what took a long time, a real effort, because I had the idea this could be a course. So that it did complete in that way. And I have them in the paywall. I left day one for free, like anyone can view it. But the other ones are behind the paywall. And I had the idea of doing something like this monthly, but it was just such an effort that I was like, I don't think I can do it monthly, but I am going to do again this year at the end of the month. Let's create something. So more simple, just a 1 day or 2 days.
Mm-hmm.
But I do love the idea of doing it monthly, something creative with people.
Yeah, it's that reminder, isn't it? That reminder that creativity can feel really nice, and just having, you know, if there's just a bag ready to go with your pencils in or your paints or whatever medium you're using, it's there, isn't it? It's like removing the blocks. I love that you adopted the word doodle as well, because we'll have to remember people will always talk themselves out of doing things. And I think calling it a doodle is that kind of gentle invitation that we're not trying to be like artists that are exhibiting in a professional exhibition here. We're just having a nice doodle, you know, that just feels a really nice invitation. I think having day one in front of the paywall for people to see is beautiful. And then obviously it might encourage subscriptions behind the paywall. The main thing with the celebration of people doing the work obviously is the restacks, but did you do anything with a post where you kind of collected all of the notes in a post as well?
I did. I made a big effort with putting every single day, like, and just summarized in a photo. And then I also shared people who didn't share the photos or didn't really do anything except more were there to cheer everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Throughout the dates, I added them in as a thank you. And that was really nice. I did do that was just a really nice feedback. It was more like celebrating them.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, that was, but I think we talked about this later on, and I realized what I maybe was missing, who this was for, be more clear on who it's for, and that what was the reason behind this sort of thing too. So I think for next time it's kind of like, okay, I'm doing a bit more of that.
Yeah, yeah. I think just us being clear really helps with our language as well. Like it's amazing over the years. Like obviously I've got much better with language around engagement and what best engages people, but I still, every time I put something out and somebody reflects it back to me, I'm like, oh yeah, it's more that than what I said. You know, like whatever, you know, people started calling these the sparkle call. So then I was like, oh yeah, I'll just call it the sparkle call, you know, adding in so many different words. So yeah, there's an opportunity there to learn about how people are receiving our work and our worlds within the Substack publication. With that one, obviously there's the opportunity with seasonal shifts and changes as well that, you know, could give you content forever, essentially, to kind of keep doing those, and that'll just build and grow as it goes. I think in terms of the restacks and being able to like work out how much energy each component of that challenge takes, it's good to do, isn't it? Because then you do work out, okay, there's my video part, and then I want to restack people, I want to bring everybody into a post. So Patrick, who I've chatted to quite a lot, who does the photography challenges, like it takes him a long, long time. He's coming on the podcast actually in the autumn, but it takes him so long, especially if a challenge does well. So I think he did them monthly, and now maybe they're every other month. And similarly with Abigail, who did the writing challenges, it takes a long time, but it is driving a lot of new subscribers to their publication because challenges do. So there is that opportunity that it's rare to see challenges on Substack because it's a newish social media. So if we want to do that, if we want to engage people through that type of content, if we want to make video part of that, you're going to instantly engage somebody if you've got a video for them to land on. My client that just went viral, Catherine Rayner, so she's an illustrator of animals usually, she's a picture book illustrator and author, and she and I came up with an idea for her first note that then went viral, and 13,800 people liked it, so it just went nuts. Mabel the dog, she's lovely. But what Catherine and I did in the middle of that happening was made sure that she had a welcome video on our Substack straight away, and so that was converting people to subscribers straight away. So sometimes we have to think about if something's caught someone's attention on notes and they head over and they're on their desktop, like what do they see on our Substack? Like are we there front and center? All of the audits that I do, I'm always like, where are you? Where are you in this publication? Like, even if it's like a selfie for introverts, you know, like put yourself in there. Even if you're not comfortable with video as a medium, but maybe stitch something together in Canva, have that there, because it just makes for more people subscribing, and that's what we want, don't we? We don't want to have to work for years and years and years. We want to have something grab attention and have people flow over and understand what this Substack is, what this publication is, what they're going to get from us. So let's make sure that that is super clear. In terms of challenge for you guys, so this is going to be really interesting to see what you guys think of this. So I've had an idea about doing a video. So I would talk to camera and I would be holding a wrapped up notebook or book, and then I would pass it to one of you in the video, and then you would say, and I'm not going to really send it in the post because it's going to take far too long. You would say, I've received this package from Claire, I'm going to open it, and then you would then pass it to somebody else. So I think it could work really, really well, and we could pass it through chat and notes. So it would be that visibility of a kind of chain of chat and a chain of notes, and it's brown paper, right? So we can all access some recycled brown paper from somewhere, or maybe we've got some in the craft store. And I thought about maybe just making it really simple. So we just put the person's name and their Substack publication underneath. So you would then choose someone to pass it to. So I would say, okay, I'm going to pass to Blythe Edwards of, and I forgot the name of your Substack, Blythe, sorry, Mountain Hideaway, isn't it? Blythe's Mountain Hideaway, at Blythe's Mountain Hideaway. So I would be saying those words, and then you would be then passing it. So it's only really for us, but I know that it will get traction on notes. People will be like, what are they doing? What's this all about? So I wanted to write a clear, like a really clear set of instructions. And then basically, if you want to opt in to this, then I'll make it so it's really clear in our Monday chat. If you want to do it, like this is where you say, yes, me, please. And then all anyone's got to do is pick a name from that list, and we can just see how many names around the world we can get to. What do you think? You up for it? Yes, I'm so good. We can have a giggle with it, can't we? We can see what happens with it. So I'll think of some really nice words. I'll think about something around gifts and being able to spread the gift of our publication, the gift of our work in the world. Some of us might have books and that sort of thing. And we'll do it. We'll make it happen, and we'll see how long it lasts. I'm not really sure how that bit's going to go, but we can certainly see. That sounds really good. Okay, so I'm going to stop recording soon, just so the people live can ask questions in the call, just because I really like to do that, just in case there's anything where someone feels slightly vulnerable, or that it's something that they're like, oh, I don't really want to say it on a recorded call. So I'll do that in a second. Yeah. Okay, people really like that idea. Good. If you're watching on replay, I'll make it really clear. So let me stop recording.